Okay, in the last video, we started to look at the normal distribution and what it was. Uh, Talked about that bell-shaped curve. Now we're going to see how we can actually use it to answer questions again. If we were looking at infants and we knew the average weight of a 5-month-old, and we knew the standard deviation, uh, then we could talk about what percent of 5-month-olds are less than 20 pounds, you know, or more than 20 pounds, or between 20 and 30 pounds. Just some things like that just thrown out there. It's been so long since I've had kids, so I don't know what the likelihood of a 5-month-old being below 20 pounds or above 20 pounds is. Just kind of threw a number out there. But we're going to use the normal distribution. We're going to use the normal distribution to compute the percent of data values that are above, below, or between values. Now, the way that we're going to do that relates to what we talked about in the last section, which was the z-score. We're going to be able to look at the z-score and say, okay, if we know the z-score, which we can compute, remember that's just the data value minus the mean, take that answer, divided by the standard deviation. That'll give us our z-score. And from our z-score, we're going to be able to figure out the percent that falls below a value by using a table. And we're going to take a look at that table here in just a few moments. But the idea here is that we have our normal distribution and we know a particular z-score. I'm just going to mark it as being right here. Then we're going to have a chart that we're going to look at in a moment that's going to tell us the percent of values that fall below that level, whatever that level might be. So we're going to have a chart, and what that chart's going to tell us is the percent that falls below a given level. And this will make a little more sense once I show you the chart. So percent below. And so the chart that I'm going to show you comes right out of your textbook. It will be available in the homework as you're doing problems. They will give you this chart. I'll show you that as well in a moment. They will give you this chart. Let me just zoom in here so you can take a look at this chart here. All right, what we do in this chart is given a z-score, say a z-score of 1, what we were just looking at there. We would look at the value next to it, and that would tell us that if we were looking at a z-value of 1, a z-score of 1, then 84.13% of all data values fall below that. If we're looking at a z-score of 3, 99.87% of all data values fall below the 3 standard deviation level. This even goes up to 4 when it's just about 100%. 99,997 out of 100,000 people would fall, or 100,000 things would fall below 4. And that's all our chart does. It doesn't go up for all of those. All right. And so, of course, this chart doesn't have every value. So if it's missing a value, we'll just often round to the nearest one. Okay. But that's what we're going to be using. We're going to be using this chart. And again, as we do it, we'll go through and I'll show you how this chart works. So I just mentioned, if you were doing a problem in the homework, this chart will be available to you. Is this problem they want us to find percent of data values that are between a z-score of 1, 5, and 2. So there's your chart where you can look these things up. So the same chart that I just showed you, it's over here in your list where you can scroll through. Now the charts they give you, not sure if they have every value. Looks like it does. This chart does have everything as well. Sometimes they give you an abbreviated chart if you don't need all of it. But it'll be right there in the homework so you can refer to it. And when you're taking the test, I will have a copy of that chart for you as well. So if you're going into the course binder and we're looking at the sample test, let me just show that to you here briefly. Pop up that sample test for you here. You might not be able to see all of it, but what I want you to know is at the end of that test there, I do give you the steps for doing standard deviation, so you don't have to worry about doing that on your own. I give you the steps. You just need to be able to follow the steps. And then I also give you can see part of it right now, the chart right here for the z-score. So the same chart that we were just looking at. So that'll be there on your test as well. So just like it's in your homework, just like I'm going to refer to it here in the videos, you'll be able to use this chart as you're working out problems. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to be looking at some problems. We're going to look at how to use this chart because the chart only tells us the percent below, but we could be asked about the percent above a certain value or between values as well. So we're going to look at how to handle these. But the first step that we're going to deal with is what we dealt with in the last section, and that is given our data value, let's figure out our z-score. So we're going to start that up in our next video. Until then, I'll see you in just a couple minutes, I guess.